What's going on, car nerds? Welcome back to the Field for Thought podcast. This is episode 33. I'm Jay.
Kevin.
And what are we talking about today, Kevin?
We're talking about something that's pretty crazy that's been happening over the years, and that's the turf war of the tow truck industry in the GTA area, or what is it?
Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
So not really our typical episode about supercars, but honestly, this is a pretty interesting story, and it's really gotten out of hand. So
Definitely
where do we start with this one?
Yeah, so we'll set the context first. Mm-hmm. The towing industry is a bit different in Ontario. So like I experienced it in Alberta, and it's a completely different game. So in Ontario, what was happening is there's a lot of crashes, and they set a time limit to clear the highway within 90 minutes. And to encourage that, they wanted like as many tow trucks as possible. So essentially, there's no restriction. You could just, as long as you have a license and something that can tow a vehicle, you can tow.
That's insane. So it's just like, it's one of those like hooks, like the crane things in the back that can lift.
Not even. So as you can see in the picture, it's like little lifts attached to the rear bumper, and it just hooks under a car and lifts it. And that's why we're seeing so many pickup trucks in Ontario that are like just normal diesel pickup trucks can tow. And they made this so competition and like price of entry is very low.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that can do it. And there's not really any rules. It's just, someone hooks up and charges you. And yeah, that's kind of how they encourage competition.
It's a good business. Like, I mean, you usually get like I think they have like a base rate of like $300.
Yeah.
For even like just like a couple kilometers.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's pretty insane. And like these modifications, you just need the pickup. Sure, like 60,000 modification to the truck is like $5,000 to $10,000, and then you can tow.
That's insane. And then the license, whatever. I mean, I'm sure it's not a huge deal to get one.
Yeah, and what the government wanted is to be as hands off as possible. So they just said, get your license. You figure out the rest. We just want the highways clear. You do whatever.
Yeah.
But that's when things kind of started taking a wrong turn, because it's based on territory, essentially. It has to be like, you get this part of the highway, I get this part of the highway. And it kind of became like a turf war. Almost like, back in the mafia days where they would own parts of New York and then the other mafia would own this part of New York. That's kind of what started happening. And the last 2 years really took a big fat turn. When COVID started hitting, we started seeing things like fraud, fights, like arson even, and the worst case is murder. Like murders started happening.
All because of a tow truck scene. That's incredible. Wow. Never underestimate Canadians, let's be honest here.
Most of them are like immigrants, so I'm sure they had like ties to.
That's true. Yeah, ties to some darker areas. That's true.
Yeah. And in total, over 100 charges were laid, and 20 people were arrested.
Now, this is just in like the outskirts of one city. Like it's not like this is countrywide. That's a huge amount of people.
Yeah. And yeah, it was like a whole organized crime thing. It was insane. So how did I want to look at how this started in the first place. So they at first it was just like people towing, and then they saw how much like money could be done. Money could be made, so they just started like essentially being bullies. There's a lot of a lot of people getting ripped off, and a lot of bad stories and bad press around tow truck drivers, because like essentially, the saying, the ambulance chasers.
Yeah.
For a lawyer who like chases an ambulance and then goes to the hospital and provides their service to someone who just crashed.
Exactly.
And so that's what was happening with the tow trucks.
They're following people till they saw a crash or something.
Yeah, well, they would just park on the side of the highway, like the most busy highways, like Gardner Express, and just wait for an accident. And as soon as they got the call, they would like rush. And so here's the thing: tow trucks are not emergency vehicles. They have to obey the traffic laws.
Yeah.
But they would I've seen tow trucks just fly on the shoulder, or like cut me off like 5 lanes, and they just drive like insane just to get to the scene as fast as possible.
It's crazy.
And it's just like ridiculous. Like they're endangering other people just to get a few bucks. And another issue is legally, like, you get to choose who tows you, but these tow truck drivers would like arrive at a scene, tow your like hook up to your car and say like you have to use my service, which is not legal.
Yeah, it's not true. Huh. You definitely gotta know your stuff.
Yeah, and they would like you wouldn't agree with the price or anything. They're just like, we have to clear the highway. Let's go. And like essentially what was happening is they were so persistent and so aggressive that you would have to call the cops to come to the scene. And police, like for car crashes in Ontario, are just they don't come.
No, it's true. They have better shit to do, I guess.
Yeah, and like they'll even tell you like, oh, it's just pull over and figure it out. So you essentially were stuck with this tow truck driver, and you didn't get to pick. And then they would rush you, and even there's cases where they would go to the furthest tow yard, like as far away as they can possibly go to charge you the most amount of money.
Wow.
And if you refuse to pay, because they put your car in the lot and like lock it and secure the lot, and if you refuse to pay, they would just keep the car there. You couldn't go get your belongings and all that. And you had to pay whatever $500 or whatever they were charging you.
Yeah.
So it got like really bad. And the worst one I saw was like, there's a clip on the news of two tow truck drivers like just fist fighting on the side of the highway.
For who gets the tow.
Yeah, because they wanted to tow a broken down car.
Can you imagine just seeing that? You just got in like a car accident. You're completely like fucked up from the car accident. You just see these two tow truck drivers. You think you're like hallucinating it or something because you're so messed up. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Leave it up to Ontario. That's hilarious.
So yeah, it's it got pretty crazy, but then things like took even further turns. So some tow truck companies would do like a whole scheme of fraudulent accidents. Really? They would like rent a car from Enterprise or rent a car from someone. They would go like on a busy highway and something and then just rear end each other.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And then they would work with auto repair shops that would fraudulently report the vehicles as totaled. So then like the auto repair shop got paid, the actors who like were crashing cars got paid, and the tow truck company got paid, and insurance companies would have to pay every single one of these guys.
So that makes a lot of sense why insurance rates are so high here too.
That's the thing. Like this sounds like, oh, whatever, the insurance companies are losing, but like they gotta make that money somewhere.
Of course, yeah. If they are losing money, they're gonna up the rates so that they keep making that money. Wow.
So that means
this affects everyone.
We're getting screwed over. And what ended up happening is the insurance companies found out about this whole scheme, and they took I think it was two towing companies to court to like fight them, and it took a pretty bad turn. They started to harass, like threaten the lives of the caseworkers in the law firm.
The tow truck workers?
Yeah, the towing company and the repair shops were like threatening the lives of their family and
oh my God,
saying like, if you work this case, we're gonna harm you.
Yes, there definitely must have ties to some crime ring. It's gotta be.
Yeah,
that's insane.
For sure. And then things got even worse. They started to like actually go towards the violence route. And
with the case, or
no, this was separate occasions. But the first one was kind of related. So one of the security guards got like shot in the head, like execution style.
Jesus.
Who was guarding one of the like lots with crash cars. And the assumption is they staged a car accident and like probably left something in the car and wanted to retrieve it. And, the security guard was like a 19-year-old guy just doing his job and wasn't letting them on the lot, so they just killed him. Shot him in the head.
That's fucked.
To retrieve something. Yeah, that's just sad. It's tragic. Like, some dude just like a 19-year-old just starting out their life, working some like weekend shift, just killed.
Yeah, because they need their belongings. It's like, bro.
So yeah, the family was like devastated.
Yeah, obviously.
And
that's
then
ridiculous.
The other one was one of the leaders of these gangs was like full on gunned down, like not just one shot, like bunch of bullets in him by two suspects. He got shot by two different people in front of his vehicle or something. And what people think was happening is he was taken to court for some other charges, like fraud charges. And I think they were afraid he was going to speak. And like, you know,
Like
involve...
be a witness in it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they just killed him. And in total, 4 people got murdered over this.
Over a towing.
A whole towing scheme, yeah. And there's plenty more of like attempted murders, like people getting shot at.
Was it ever actually like with evidence tied to this, or is it just kind of assumptions?
No, like it was tied to, because like I mean the security guard was
yeah,
in the law,
yeah.
and then the other guy was involved in this whole scheme, so these 2 were tied. The other 4 murders were vaguely tied to them, like they were part of a towing company and also yeah, it was
yeah, I mean it's
insane.
clear it's not just clean people doing this.
Yeah. And then the last like final straw before the things got really out of hand is they had like for a year they had this thing where if you towed on someone's turf, they would come to your house at night and light your tow truck on fire.
Bro.
And yeah, like they just burn the whole truck. It didn't matter if it was in a parking garage or beside your house. They would just burn it. And this happened close to 30 times in the GTA.
So who's doing this? Was it like the rival companies, the ones that actually owned the turf, that they would like tow on?
Yeah, so
and then they would set them on fire?
So technically like nobody can own turf. It's the whole highway is
obviously
like first come first serve. But yeah, that's essentially what was happening. Like they proved their point. Like if you're towing on my turf, I would light your truck on fire.
That's nuts.
And it got to the point where it was so bad and there's so many threats that some tow truck drivers were carrying a weapon and wearing body armor.
No, this isn't Texas. This is Canada. Like,
yeah,
this shit's all very illegal.
Just so you guys know, we can't carry guns. Like it's illegal to carry a gun.
Yeah, I think most of the states it is too. But yeah, that's insane. Wearing body armor just to go make $300 for a tow. Like at that point, just get an office job. Like
yeah, like this is crazy. Like
it's crazy.
You're just towing, and that's the thing that happened. Like before, it was some guy who's like providing for his family, just towing vehicles during the day. But then gangs started coming in and like, making the whole thing just so dangerous that people just had to stop.
Yeah.
Like think about like this dude who's been towing for 20 years and using it to provide his family.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this gang just comes in and just pressures him like, hey, I will kill you if you keep towing. Like that's.
And you're just like, imagine if you had no idea that any of this was going on, then you just tow on someone's turf and all of a sudden your tow truck's been lit on fire.
Yeah.
Like that's scary.
Yeah, it's bad. And then so after these events, the police had to come in, the government, even the government of Canada was involved. They did like a whole operation, everything, like I think it was called Operation Platinum, to shut down this whole thing. And so police got a bunch of search warrants for towing yards, and they had an insane haul.
Really?
So in total,
how many yards did they go to?
I think it was 2 yards.
Okay.
2 like the main.
Like the headquarters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And they found a lot. They found 16 pistols, 13 shotguns, brass knuckles, which is considered a weapon, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the same level as a pistol in Canada.
Really? So you're not allowed to have it?
No.
Really?
And then they even found drugs. They found fentanyl, cocaine, meth. So they were like a full-on like
full-on gang, like probably also dealing drugs while they're towing and shit. Wow.
Exactly. And they found over $500,000 in cash, which is a lot of money. So this was not like
swindling, yeah.
Yeah, this was not a small operation. And then in total, they arrested 20 people and charged all of them. But it is suspected that there was at least like 70 people in the total.
That's huge.
GTA running this whole operation. Yeah. But they could only, still 20 people, that's a lot. But
yeah, it's a good chunk, I guess, but still not everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, the thing that pisses me off the most is what ended up happening at the end of this situation. Mm-hmm. So, they charged 20 people with a bunch of various crimes, and it took two years to, go through the whole process of prosecution. Most of them were on house arrest. And then a couple of years later, they just drop all charges.
Why?
So apparently, in the middle of the investigation, it was found out that the police wiretapped a phone conversation, and that was enough for the defense to drop all the charges.
That's unreal.
Yeah. And that's apparently the third high-profile case in Canada that charges are dropped because like prosecution or the police will do something illegal.
Yeah.
And then they're somehow able to drop all charges for everyone.
It's insane. Yeah, I think it happens a lot more than you think. Like, just police kind of walking that boundary or going a bit over the line to convict people.
And it makes you think, like, obviously the cops know this is illegal, but, like, how does this happen? Is there a cop that's being paid on the inside and, like, leaks this information to the defense? Because how would they know? This is part of the evidence.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's always some way of doing stuff. Yeah, there's
corruption.
There's always corruption in this kind of stuff. Like, even just the people they're dealing with, like, they're probably working for both sides or know people on the other side, or he's got a buddy in the police force, or, stuff like that.
So, like, what this means is there's probably just these crooks walking around and still towing people and scamming people.
It's insane.
In the GTA, which is terrible because like they spend so many resources, so much time breaking this apart, and then it's probably just going to come right back.
I mean, if it gets bad again, the same thing will happen, but hopefully they won't drop the ball this time.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's hope I never get towed.
Yeah, hopefully. But
that's wild.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, and it's crazy to think like this is happening in our neighborhood. Like we could be part of this whole situation.
Yeah. So I actually asked my girlfriend because she just was in an accident and got towed. And they brought her all the way to North York from, like, Jameson, close to the Gardiner there. So that might be one of them.
That feels like a long way.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So, yeah, we'd love to hear, like, if anyone has any stories from the GTA area.
Yeah, let us know, because could be building a case here, a class action.
Yeah.
Because, if a lot of people are affected by it, like, we could all come together and, be like, okay, we need justice for this shit. Because, again, if you call, like, I don't know what's local here in terms of, like, an actual towing company, but, like, they'll rarely charge you more than, like, $300. Like, depending on where there's so many yards around here.
Yeah.
Like, they rarely charge over $300. But, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure, like you said, like, $500, $600, $700 sometimes they charge. So,
Yeah, so it's tragic story, but hopefully it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably why our insurance is so high too.
It's not helping anything.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to do an episode about the whole Brampton stealing stuff too.
Yeah, I was actually doing some research about that. I think
we'll touch on that in a future episode, but
good episode. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just paying out our ass for insurance. It's great, really. Considering we've driven for 10 years without an accident, but still, pay multiple thousands of dollars a year in insurance.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's the greatness of the GTA.
Yeah.
The price for paradise, right?
Paradise is pushing it. I don't know if GTA is like my dream place.
Yeah, it's more like GTA 5, really. That's what it's turning into.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it.
Yeah. It's named properly.
With all the mafia and the shootings, it's
insane. All right, well, that was a pretty interesting episode. Hopefully we can do more like this in the future, like some case study stuff, because it is interesting to kind of look into this stuff, even though it's not directly supercar related, but,
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next week for episode 34.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.